back to BLOCKTV, and this is the Dapp Show, where we feature some of the most promising and intriguing dApps out there. Today we are very happy to be joined by Marie Franville, COO at B2EXPAND, and Federico Molino, Head of Marketing at Decentraland. Thank you guys for joining us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Now, first off, Federico, Decentraland is a virtual world where you can build and explore 3D creations, play games, and socialize. Now, some are calling Decentraland the Minecraft of the blockchain. Do you think that's an apt description?
Well, like you said, Decentraland is the world's first fully decentralized world. The main difference with any other gaming platform like Minecraft resides in the fact that it is owned and developed by its community. So Decentraland is run by a DAO, which stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. The Decentraland DAO owns the most important smart contracts and assets that make up Decentraland. Mm-hmm. And our community is filled with more than 100K enthusiasts from all over the world.
Mm-hmm. Now, what does the fact that you mentioned it is decentralized, run by a DAO, what does that add to the game compared to a non-blockchain shared world like Minecraft?
Well, basically, there are no acts of God, so no one can take away your items or NFTs, as we call them here, and you're free to trade them in any way you want. It's a liquid market. In traditional games, you are locked in the game stores. For example, you can trade your Dota 2 items, but you cannot cash out from the Steam store. By leveraging blockchain technology, you're able to freely trade your assets, and it also means that I think this is the most important aspect. It means that the community owns the decision making. So they decide on what's the future and roadmap of Decentraland.
Mm-hmm. Now, Marie, to you, gaming is one of the most interesting verticals to utilize the blockchain. Your gaming studio, B2EXPAND, is the first studio working on a blockchain game in France. What can the blockchain bring to gaming in terms of added value and fun for the player?
Well, first of all, I agree with you completely about your first statement. The video game vertical will drive the blockchain mass adoption. So we've been making games leveraging the blockchain. We are working on Ethereum since late 2016, which is quite early time. And to answer your question about what blockchain could bring to players, there are two features that we are focusing on. The first one is true ownership. And the second one is interoperability. So we shipped the first game, Beyond the Void, where players could buy and trade their assets using our cryptocurrency Nexium. And now we are currently working on Lytra Rush. You can see the video now. It's a very fun arcade multiplayer PC game. It's already available on its beta version on Steam. So you can have a key and play now for free. And it carries the NFT store for players to use all the assets and trade them on the marketplace. So we're hoping with this game, which is available on Steam, to appeal to non-blockchain gamers as well as to blockchain gamers.
Mm-hmm. Now, Federico, you guys both spoke about this idea of kind of the users owning their in-game assets, their places. Now, right now, free-to-play games with in-game purchases are a huge hit. You can look at Fortnite, Call of Duty Warzone, and more phone games than you can count. Do you feel that there'll be a big pushback by major publishers against this blockchain tech and games that allow users their ownership over their, ownership, interoperability, and ownership for in-game purchases?
Well, I think it's a huge market. Actually, the digital assets market is around $100 billion yearly. And I don't think there will be a major pushback. And I think players will gradually turn into blockchain technologies. And I think there's space for all. And actually, there is no real reason for Fortnite to turn into the blockchain technology, because what they have is working. But I think we'll see a paradigm shift in the following years.
Now, Marie, similar question to you. Especially like you said, where there's the ability for users to to take items using the blockchain from one game and kind of move it to another. Doesn't that have doesn't it have the potential to totally change the way that the current business model for games works, where so many of them work on in-game purchases?
Yes, absolutely. And that's why it's so exciting. And as a developer, actually, we own and we created and we own the IP of Beyond the Void and Light Rush. So we are self-publishing studio. So we can do whatever we want, leveraging the blockchain. So first thing is that we are on Steam and on the blockchain. And we are trying to bridge both worlds and appeal to both type of gamers. But in the meantime, we are working very closely with other studios who are developing like us games, leveraging blockchain. So we can actually allow our communities of gamers use their own assets and they can travel from game to game. So we are talking with many, studio friends such as Blockade Games, making their own district and battle races and Sandbox and hopefully Decentraland. Why not?
Yeah,
yes.
That's very important what you said, that there kind of has to be this cooperation between studios to kind of enable this to happen. Now, Federico, on your end, Decentraland recently hosted the annual CoinFest conference due to the fact that physically holding conferences right now are pretty much impossible due to the coronavirus pandemic. What other events do you see Decentraland being able to host in the future?
Well, first, we are seeing the demand for this type of virtual events rapidly increase. For that purpose, we launched an events Dapp that you can find at events.decentraland.org. And we are also building an advanced features for major events holder to be able to host them inside Decentraland. We have been actually been approached by big players in the conference space, and they are interested in hosting their events there. So yeah, we're making sure the technology is there.
That's very cool. Now, I like the fact that you guys not only just built the world and enabled it, but actually fill it up with life, which is very important in these games. Now, Marie, why did you guys choose to go with the Matic network for your dev?
Oh, so we met them like 2 years ago, and the technical team decided to go with Matic solution because first of all, it was pretty easy to integrate, which is a good argument for a technical team. The smart contracts are compatible with the Ethereum chain, using the same EVM. And also it provides better speed and lower transaction fees. And we are, the Ethereum chain itself is a bit not ready yet. So we need the sidechain, and Matic can provide a very good one, we believe.
Very important, especially for the usability of the games. Now, Federico, how about you? Why was the Matic network right for Decentraland?
So there's one big constraint in the blockchain games world, which is user experience. If you take current tech, you have transaction fees and waiting times for transactions to happen. So we try to soften this constraint as much as possible, and that's why we decided to go with Matic, because they offer strong layer 2 technology, and I think it's instrumental for taking the blockchain gaming and the Decentraland to the mainstream, basically. You don't want people to have to spend money to do transactions and to wait a lot of time. So that's why we went with them, actually.
Mm-hmm. Now, you raise an interesting point, especially when it comes to blockchain technology. Not a lot of people are that familiar with it. There's a lot of newcomers who struggle with it a little bit. So, Maria, I point that same question to you. It is an interesting point raised by Federico. How do you guys overcome the challenges of blockchain being such a new technology that when you have gamers who might not be familiar with blockchain technology, how do you kind of educate them to utilize it for the game to the fullest?
Yes, to be completely honest, it's still let's say early days in terms of user experience. It's a bit clunky to get a wallet and understand, and it works best if you're like tech savvy. That's why our strategy was let's go where the players are and make a great game, a fun game with good retention, with a good game design. And when you've spent so many hours playing and you get attached to all your assets, and maybe you can blockchainize. And that's when we want to onboard the players and convert the players to using actually blockchain. Mm-hmm. But it has to be seamless, you know? Yeah. It has to be not too heavy. Yeah.
For sure. Now, Federico, you guys are actually with Decentraland, like you mentioned before, it's kind of run by the community. A lot of the content, or all the content, is essentially built by the community, which leaves a lot of it out of your hands. So in your guys' view, you know, how has it come to fruition? Now, I know you guys probably had one vision for it. How has it turned out? Has it turned out, Decentraland, has the community built it, the world, the way that you guys predicted, or something totally different?
So we are really we're really happy with our community. We have a really strong community that has spun out fan sites like Digital Plazas, another fan sites, and we think it's turning up to be a really fun world, and we are here to make developer tools easier, to make the client perform faster and a bit more reliable. And yeah, we have complete confidence in our community that they will create very engaging experiences.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you guys have done a tremendous job so far, but what's next for Decentraland?
So like I was mentioning, short term is improving the client performance and stability. And then we are looking to grow our user base, work on social features like adding friends, being able to whisper to someone, continue to host events like treasure hunts, and basically building all the developer tools needed for content creators to thrive and create scenes with replay value and engaging experiences.
Mm-hmm. And Marie, for you, I mean, you guys have also done a tremendous job first with your first game, and now Light Trail Rush is coming out soon. What is next for B2EXPAND?
So for us, we are really counting on a very successful launch in June for Light Trail Rush. It's going to be a premium game. But we have, we're nothing without our community, because we are like a blockchain native studio. And we are working on an interface, a solution which would allow our community who have the cryptocurrency Nexium, they would be able to create and trade their assets. So we are going towards user-generated content for our community. Mm-hmm. Now, so that's the vision.
Yeah, now it's very exciting, and especially right now with coronavirus, pretty much all the world is locked down, which leaves a lot of people at home. A lot of people are playing video games right now, some who were playing video games and now have more time to, and some who've never played video games before. Do you think that this unique opportunity provides a kind of unique point, a kind of jumping off point for blockchain gaming right now?
So we don't have the same means as triple A's. We are still an indie video game developer, but we do see, because we use the Unity engine, we do see more players trying. Yes, it does. It does make a difference, even for a small developer like us. In terms of users, yes.
Mm-hmm. And Federico, for you too, I mean, I would think even for Decentraland, it should be even a bigger boost. Now that people can't socialize in the real world, are they turning to Decentraland to kind of get that outdoor fix?
Well, I think it unlocks a lot of new use cases. That's why we are focusing a little bit on events, like I mentioned before, because this is a huge part of the lockdown use case. Basically, a lot of people that wanted to host physical events and are not able right now because they were canceled. There are no flights. Everyone's on lockdown. So I think that's one of the big opportunities of this pandemic, which I don't think it's optimal, but there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
There is always light at the end of the tunnel. Well said. Now, I'd like to thank both you guys so much for joining us on the show. You both have very exciting projects, and I can't wait to see what's next for Decentraland and B2EXPAND. Thank you guys so much for joining us, Marie and Federico, and for all our viewers at home. If you want more on blockchain tech and crypto news, make sure to check us out at blocktv.com.
Watch us on Amazon Fire TV and Roku.